Hello everyone, Spegtacular here. This is going to be only a basics video, so it's just for the new person coming into silver, maybe giving them some thoughts on how to invest in silver or what's out there for them to invest in. Some of the, I'd like to say bigger options, some of the more mainstream options. Some people want to invest in silver basically only for the actual weight and silver content. So those people would generally buy the bars for as cheap as possible and resell them for the higher price. So let's say silver is at $10 an ounce today, and then in a month it goes to $20. That's when they sell. They buy low, sell high. That's a typical way that people will invest in the silver. Some people will buy this silver and never sell it. They have no plans. If silver goes to $1 million an ounce, they're not trying to sell it. Well, maybe $1 million an ounce. My goodness, anybody would sell for that, right? But generally speaking, a higher price will not persuade them to sell it. They're just going to hold it indefinitely forever in case any kind of craziness happens. Then they'll have some kind of safeguard against that craziness. Quotes. That's an option. Some people like to do the silver to gold bounce back, method, where, so for instance, silver right now is around $14 an ounce. Gold's around $1,200 an ounce. Approximately 80 of these is the same value as 1 ounce of gold, this is 1 ounce. Some people will buy the silver when it's that, we'll call it cheap, when it has that kind of ratio. And then when the silver starts to go up in price and kind of get closer to the gold, price, not that much closer because gold's very expensive, it's always been, but it has more of a 40 or 50 to 1 ratio, then people will sell their silver, pick up the gold, and then wait for that ratio to go the other way again. It's just how some people invest. Those are all options, all thoughts. Okay, let's go into kind of like what the different things you can buy are. It's just some of the things, not everything, just some of the things. These are bars. These are hand-poured bars. This is a very common way to put your money into silver. It's pleasing to the eye, so a lot of people like these types of bars for the investment purposes. They will demand a bit of a higher premium because it's a lot more work to put into these bars. You can see a lot of that on YouTube, people hand pouring the bars. They have to actually individually stamp these. Sometimes they have to do several stamps in the bar. There's the bars are hard to pour, they don't come out perfect, they might have to remelt them, re-pour them. It's a pain, so it demands a higher premium. There's more work that's involved. That's kind of why. Generally, you'll pay a couple dollars more for one of these bars as opposed to the pressed bars. So all these move these out of the way, are pressed bars of silver. So here's some 1 ounce, here's some 1 ounce. These are easier to make for people, so they can just almost like mass produce them. Sometimes they have serial numbers, so that may take a little bit more time. Here's a 5 ouncer, 10 ounce. The sky's the limit on the size of these bars. It's just whatever you're able to afford and whatever you're looking for. Do you want smaller bars so it's easier for you to trade back and forth, whatever? It's all preference. These have lots of different art that comes on them. Sometimes they're more plain Jane or plain Jim, depending on, whatever. It's, again, all preference, all options out there. So, those are bars. Why are they bars? Because it looks like a bar. Then, close relative to the bar is the rounds. They're called rounds because they're round. These, again, all shapes and sizes, different artwork on them. Some people will buy these for just the artwork. They collect them based on that. And of course the silver content as well, but the artwork kind of persuades them to go that route. Like for instance, these persuaded me. These I thought were cool. They demand a bit of a higher premium. They're actually worth a little bit more sometimes too when you sell them, as opposed to some of the more, we'll call them plain Jane, plain gem style rounds. These can get tarnished and whatnot. That's why they're all kind of in plastic. My fingerprint can get on there, smudge and whatnot. It doesn't lower the price of the silver, but it may be easier for me to sell them in some places if they're not all, you know, tarnished and whatnot. But then again, some people like the tarnishing, so some people will actually pay a premium if they're tarnished. It shows some age and some wear, and there's some history there. There's collectors for everything. So those are rounds. These are not coins. They have no numerical value on them, or no numismatic value, other than just the silver prices. You know, so these are, you know, 2 ounces, so about $28. These are 1 ounce, so about $14 with today's prices in silver. So those are the rounds. Then similar but not the same, you have coins. Coins are different than the rounds because they're actually minted by a government, and they have a numismatic value on them, and they actually have a price on them. Here's $1 from the United States of America. This is an American Silver Eagle. It has a $1 amount on it. So that's, if you went to a bank, you'd say, hey, here's my $1. Nobody's going to do that because the coin is actually worth quite a bit more. It's 1 ounce of silver, so you have $14, but it usually has a collector's value as well, and it demands a higher premium. So usually you can get about 18 plus, depending on the year and, you know, the mintage and whatnot of these coins. So that's another way to invest. Some people only like to invest in these. It's just up to you. I like to invest in a little bit of everything, so that way it's just, you know, I diversify that way when I do this. Ideally, when you're investing, you should diversify in everything, in every way. When you're doing stocks, you shouldn't only buy, tech stocks or only banking stocks. You should buy a little bit of everything. You shouldn't buy only dividend stocks. Buy a little bit of everything. Buy some penny stocks in there. Throw it in there for a little bit of a risk, so maybe there's more risk reward. Diversification is great. That's a lot of people that invest will try to drill that into your head. I'm trying to now. Hopefully your head is now drilled. So those are coins. These are modern coins. These are newer. So now let me go into some older stuff. Boom. Older coins. 90% silver. These were, big back in the day. And they still are big in the collector's hobby. This is a Morgan dollar, and this is a peace dollar. There's no real reason to put some of these older grungy coins into these cases. I do it because I collect them and like to keep my collection kind of like, as nice as possible. Even though they're already junked up, I don't want to risk junking them up anymore, dropping them, damaging them. I want to keep them in the exact condition that I found them. So these are made out of 90% silver. A lot of people love collecting these things. These are big. These are, I wouldn't call them junk silver. It's a little different. Junk silver is more along the lines of the 90% quarters, half dollars, dimes, those are from 1964 and earlier. The coins were made out of, for the most part, those coins that I mentioned were made out of 90% silver. So now you have some half dollars that are after 1964, like 1965 to 1969 half dollars were actually 40% silver. And then here on, or after that, there was some coins here and there that were, silver based on, maybe they were some special year and certain mint wanted to do them differently. But 1964 and before, these types of coins are quarters, half dollars, and dimes. You pretty much bet your bottom dollar that they're going to be 90% silver. And some people only collect these. Some people love these. It's easy to see and dish out. Like if there was an emergency, you know, with the whole economy or whatnot, it's easy to know that that's, you know, a dime, and that's a smaller amount to trade if you were going to have to trade silver than a whole ounce. You know, it's just, like I said, different options, different preferences. You're a different person than somebody else. You're going to do what you like to do. Have some of this, though, in your portfolio when you're talking about silver. You know, have a little bit of everything. And then you can never go wrong if you have a little bit of everything. Now, I want to get to some of the crazy stuff. So some people, you know, have silver coins, but they like to have them graded. So here's a perfect 70 grade American Silver Eagle. That's all preference if you want to do that. Some people only collect, you know, these, what they call slabbed coins. I just wanted one to have, you know, to have a perfect coin. I never had one before. I thought, hey, that'd be fun to have one like that. If that appeals to you, then do it. It's worth a little bit more than if you were to just have the coin, you know, without this slab, like I showed you earlier. This right here, because somebody can plainly see. They don't know, without being a professional, if this is a perfect coin, whatnot. It's easy to see at a glance that this is a perfect coin because some professional person went in there with a microscope, looked at it, you know, said, hey, flawless, at least in their opinion. So that's an option. What else is an option? Probably one of the least best options is old antique stuff. And I say it's the least best option because it's going to demand a very high premium on this stuff compared to just getting an ounce of silver. So, you know, the old spoons and whatnot. And there's a little bit more strategy involved to making sure this stuff is legit. You're trying to look for something that says, you know, silver on this thing, point whatever, sterling, coin silver, etc. You're trying to make sure this is all legit. This stuff is faked a lot. It's oftentimes it'll be plated, silver plated, rather than actual pure silver. So that's a whole different video on fake stuff. You have to do some research on that yourself, but there are fakes out there. Be warned. There's fakes of everything in this world, you know. So anything that can be valuable can be faked. So, you know, it's hard to see some of it, but silver ware. So, I would say, again, that's probably one of the least desirable options if you're going to invest in silver. There's, like I said, it's the sky's the limit on the size of things, of the types out there. There's some coins out there that are worth hundreds of dollars, even though it's just a plain coin. Some of these coins, depending on the year and the mint mark and you know, the condition, are worth, you know, tens of thousands of dollars. Does that mean that this one is? No. But does that mean that every single one is? No. But that one particular one and, you know, a million is worth, you know, a significant amount depending on those conditions. You got to find out what kind of collector you're going to be, what you want to do. You want to be the guy that just buys it for the weight and then does it for the quick flip. That's all for you to decide. Hopefully this video helped a little bit. Good luck. Again, basics video. Sorry if it bored you, but hopefully it maybe opened your mind a little bit to some options out there if you're new to collecting and investing in silver.